still light. It's held me far too long, and without you, no longer trouble. I'm looking down on those traveling lights, and I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. This torch is heavy, but I travel light. It's lonely on the top shelf, 'cause I've been there myself. Oh, I've been there, deep in my cups, high in the sky, when I just wanted something of my own. Just wanted something of my own. Looking for someone of my own. My own. Close the window and your eyes disappear into the blue. Wrap your fingers around the great escape, drinking moonshine on the moon. It's got you feeling like a queen, but you're not quite. Looking down on those traveling lights, I'd best be on my way. I'd best be on my way. Moving sidewalk, I go clear-eyed and calm. Don't want the fruit from that still light. It's held me far too long, and without you, no longer trouble. I'm looking down on those traveling lights, and I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. This torch is heavy, but I travel light. when I just wanted something of my own. Just wanted something of my own. Looking for someone of my own, my own. Floating down that moving sidewalk, I go clear-eyed and calm. Don't want the fruit from that still life. It's held me far too long, and without you, no longer trouble. I'm looking down on those traveling lights, and I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. And I'm on my way. This torch is heavy, but I travel light. It's lonely on the top shelf, 'cause I've been there myself. Oh, I've been there, deep in my cups, high in the sky, when I just wanted something of my own. Just wanted something of my own. Looking for someone of my own, my own. Close the window and your eyes disappear into the blue. Wrap your fingers around the great escape, drinking moonshine on the moon. It's got you feeling like a queen, but you're not quite. Looking down on those traveling lights, I'd best be on my way.
tuned in to Local News Live, a production of AOC Community Media in partnership with The Advocate. Also part of that organization, the Acadiana Advocate, which covers Lafayette locally, and we will cover some local and some state news for everybody this morning. Thanks again for tuning in on AOC Community Media, and a big thanks to our volunteer news reader, the man of the day almost every day, Mr. Bruce Cohen. Bruce, welcome to Local News Live.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Engineer Matt.
Well, thanks so much for reading the news. I know we got probably a lot of news today, so I'm going to let you take it away, Bruce.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. Well, good morning, Acadiana, as Matt always says. And of course, our first story this morning, folks, is about the coronavirus. It's sad to say, but that seems to be an everyday occurrence now for the last, 4 months. So COVID-19 coronavirus, the latest, caseloads are not easing in Acadiana. Region has the most new cases reported in the state, by Claire Taylor, staff writer. Acadiana's battle with the coronavirus did not ease up over the weekend. 3 of the 8 COVID-19 deaths reported Monday by the Louisiana Department of Health were in Region 4, which includes Lafayette, Acadia, Evangeline, Iberia, St. Landry, St. Martin, and Vermilion parishes. 2 were in Acadia Parish and 1 in Iberia Parish. Region 4 has also had the most new cases, 314 reported Monday, out of the 9 health regions based on the most test results, 2,726. A positive rate of 11.5%. Lafayette Parish has had the most new cases in Region 4 at 117, based on 987 new tests, a positive rate of 11.8. For much of May, the health department reported new daily cases of Lafayette Parish in the single digits. For the past 2 weeks, as testing increased, so did positive test results, often more than 100 new cases per day. Hospitals in some parts of Texas are nearing capacity as COVID-19 cases skyrocket. Hospitals in Acadiana appear to be in better shape. According to the department's Monday report, 32% of the region's 1,710 hospital beds are available. 23% of the region's 175 ICU beds are open, and 68% of the region's 183 ventilators are available. Statewide, the health department reported 1,100 new cases of COVID-19 Monday and 38 new hospitalizations. Since the first case was reported in Louisiana in March, there have been 66,327 cases, 43,026 presumed recoveries, and 3,188 deaths. Currently, 964 people are hospitalized with COVID-19 in Louisiana, and 105 are on ventilators. In some parts of the country, residents didn't need officials' requests to exercise caution over the July 4th weekend. If Acadiana follows suit, a jump in positive cases could show up in about 2 weeks, as it did following the Memorial Day holiday. After closing most businesses and ordering residents to stay at home in mid-March, Governor John Bel Edwards on May 15 started allowing more businesses to open. He expanded the reopening June 5th, but decided June 22nd the state would remain in phase 2 for 28 more days because cases and hospitalizations were rising. Lafayette General Health announced Monday it is partnering with government leaders in Lafayette and St. Martin parishes to conduct community COVID-19 testing from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays at Crescent Safety Services, that's at 8311 US 90 East in Broussard. Crescent Safety Services, 8311 US 90 East in Broussard. The drive-through testing is available to all Louisiana residents, even those who are not experiencing symptoms. Anyone participating should bring a valid ID and insurance card if applies. There are no out-of-pocket costs, and no one will be turned away if they don't have insurance. The Cajun Dome can't host Lafayette graduations. Plans never got state approval by Megan Wyatt, staff writer. Graduating seniors of Lafayette Parish Public Schools won't walk across the stage at the Cajun Dome this week because of a disconnect between local and state leaders. Lafayette Parish School System administrators learned Monday that high school graduation ceremonies planned for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Cajun Dome could not go on as planned. The graduations, which were originally set for May, will not be postponed again, according to a statement for the school system. Commencement ceremonies will still take place this week, more than likely at outdoor venues. The Lafayette Parish School Board announced Monday that emergency meetings would take place 5:30 p.m. today, Tuesday, if necessary, although new plans could be in place before then. In a perfect world, we would have held it at the Cajun Dome and shown everyone how it's done, said School Board President Britt Latchley. We had a solid plan, and we were very transparent with everybody. We even released our plan to the public a week ago or so. But emails sent between employees of the Cajun Dome, Louisiana Department of Health, and Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal reveal that Lafayette Parish graduation plans never received state approval. After discussions with several representatives of LDH, there's not a consensus to authorize gatherings of those numbers at this time due to the recent spike in the number of positive COVID-19 cases, a dispatcher with the State Fire Marshal's office wrote in a Monday email to Cajun Dome Director Pam DeVille. It has been recommended that your proposed events not occur with the crowd sizes proposed. Latchley said school administrators thought their plans which address temperature checks, seat spacing, mask requirements, attendee limits, and more, clearly follow state guidelines to slow the spread of coronavirus. Phase 1 of Louisiana's reopening plan, which went into effect May 15th, allowed for venues like the Cajun Dome to reopen at 25% capacity. Phase 2 allowed reopening at 50% capacity beginning June 5th. Lafayette High's graduation ceremony, the largest in the district, would have filled the venue only to 19% capacity, Latchley said. Governor John Bel Edwards implemented additional safety precautions on June 26, however, after the state saw a sustained spike in cases. One of those measures limited all outdoor gatherings to no more than 250 people, with social distancing could not be observed. Lafayette Mayor President Josh Guillory also implemented stricter COVID-19 measures for Lafayette Parish on June 26 in an effort to control community spread of the virus. His measures limited all indoor and outdoor gatherings to 200 people, with a few exceptions, including the planned graduation ceremonies. Confirmed cases and hospitalizations related to the virus have continued to rise at an alarming rate in Lafayette Parish and the Acadiana region. Personally, I thought we'd be in phase 3 right now, Latchley said. I think we all kind of did. That's why we made the decision to do graduation in July instead of holding it outside in the stadium in May like some of the other districts. The school system announced last week that graduates and attendees would be required to wear face masks at the ceremonies. Attendance at the ceremonies would be capped at 25% capacity at the Cajun Dome, with each student receiving 4 tickets for guests, school officials said. Ashley Rodriguez, spokeswoman for the State Fire Marshal's office, says some schools across the state have broken up graduation classes into smaller ceremonies, while others have hosted outdoor ceremonies instead, where gatherings are limited to 250 people as long as the venue is at or below 50% of its total capacity. Of course, we understand that this is such a trying time for families who look forward to celebrating these teenagers' academic accomplishments by walking across the stage, Rodriguez said. But at the same time, we're all in the situation where the health experts are really advising limits to gatherings, whether it be outside or inside. The governor has established these best practices based on what the health experts are saying. School board members and school system administrators are working tirelessly to ensure graduating seniors get the ceremonies they deserve, Latchley said. Schools won't be broken up into smaller groups. Instead, they plan as of Monday evening was a focus on moving ceremonies outdoors. It will be a challenge since tracks at 3 of the district's high schools, Acadiana, Karen Crow, and Como, are under construction this summer. These students, the class of 2020, deserves something great. They really do. Lachlan said, these students started the school year 2 weeks late as freshmen because of the 2016 flood, and now they're going through a pandemic. They had prom taken from them, ring ceremonies, award ceremonies, some athletics, and to receive notice so late when the school system and the staff did the best they could, I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed. They're heartbroken right now. We're heartbroken right now, but we're going to do everything in our power to give them what they deserve. Okay. Widow of Rhodey captain files suit. Man grew ill after co-worker's work trip by Anthony McCauley, staff writer. The widow of a sea captain who died after contracting the coronavirus is suing the Lafayette-based owner of the vessel her husband was working on at the time, alleging the company's negligence in sending a co-worker to New Orleans amid the pandemic led to his death. The case has been brought up in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Louisiana and New Orleans under maritime law, specifically the 1920 Jones Act, which gives seamen who are not eligible for traditional federal workers' compensation some protection for the unique risks they face aboard vessels. Kathy Norwood, whose husband Michael Norwood died of COVID-19 in a Mobile, Alabama hospital in April, alleges that the owners of Roddy Marine LLC negligently exposed him to the virus while he was working on one of their offshore oil industry support vessels while in port in Mobile's Austell Marine facility. 3 Roddy employees were working on the vessel in the Mobile shipyard, including Norwood, who was licensed captain, and another vessel captain named John Reed. The 3rd employee, a deckhand, wasn't named. According to the lawsuit in late March, Roddy instructed Reed to travel to New Orleans to perform vessel captain services for the company. He returned to the vessel in Mobile, and a few days later, and after working several days there, he showed symptoms and was diagnosed with COVID-19, the suit alleges. Norwood then allegedly caught the virus from Reed and died. Norwood's attorney, Paul Sturbkow, alleges that Reed was sent at a time when New Orleans was already known to be a coronavirus hotspot, and after Governor John Bel Edwards had begun to shut down public gatherings and workplaces. Rhodey has a duty under the Jones Act to provide a safe place to work, and that means a boat that is not infected with the virus, said Sturbkow. Either Roddy didn't take the steps necessary to uphold their duty, or Reed, a captain and an employee of Rhodey, violated whatever protocol they had. Rhodey's owners, Wade Guillory or Jody Jarrell, didn't respond to requests for comment. Their attorney, Kent Morrison, declined to comment. While there are other civil cases where passengers are suing cruise ship operators for exposing them to the virus, Grady Hurley, a maritime lawyer at Jones Walker in New Orleans, said the Norwood case appears to be the first in the country to allege negligence under the Jones Act for death or injury of a maritime worker arising from the pandemic. The case is interesting in that it is the first invoking COVID, and the court will probably look at what should have been known under the circumstances and what reasonable precaution should have been taken, said Hurley, who was not involved in the case but has written on it for the National Law Review. Hurley said Roddy and his lawyers likely will look to whether the information from sources like the Coast Guard, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and others had issued specific guidelines and protocol about how seamen and other maritime workers should protect against the virus. Norwood was 63 and had diabetes, which put him at particularly high risk, Sturbkow said. He had a big bullseye on his back, he said. The thing about the Jones Act and death claims is that they're not worth that much, said Arthur Crace, a maritime law professor at Loyola University. Like other negligent cases, like in other land-based employment or due to a car accident, plaintiffs in these maritime cases can only seek medical expenses and loss of income, or what is known as pecuniary damages. It is an anachronism, said Craig, who added that it would take new legislation to fix after a Supreme Court decision upholding the law as it stands. The Louisiana Federal Court is the country's most important for maritime law, hearing more cases than any other, Cray said. While the Norwood case might set a precedent for the care expected of maritime employees during a pandemic, Cray said he thinks it is unlikely that Norwood's lawyer will try to set another precedent by seeking punitive damages in the case. Okay, we'll turn to some public service announcements. From the Diocese of Lafayette Office of Communications, Bishop Douglas Desautels of the Diocese of Lafayette has confirmed with Lafayette Mayor President Josh Guillory that churches are exempt from the updated COVID-19 guidelines now in effect in Lafayette Parish, which limit gatherings to 200 people and mandate the wearing of masks. All Catholic Church parishes in the diocese will continue to operate under the state of Louisiana Phase 2 reopening directives. Bishop Desautels continues to strongly recommend that parishioners wear masks while attending Mass. Camp Unique, Dreams Foundation. Every summer, the Dreams Foundation of Acadiana hosts the greatest camp of all, Camp Unique. Camp Unique is suited for individuals with special needs. Camp Unique will be held July 13th through 17th for ages 5 through 13 and July 20th through 24th for ages 14 and up. The fee will be $25 per person, and the theme this year is Peace and Love. All Camp Unique sessions will be held at Lark's Acadian Village. Individuals of all ages have a blast participating at a camp that is specifically tailored to them. You get the opportunity to take part in activities such as art, fitness, karaoke, music, and dance, as well as getting a Camp Unique t-shirt and a snack every day. A highlight of Camp Unique this year will be the storytelling session by Chief Greyhawk Perkins, Common Dreams Foundation Executive Director Danielle Watkins. As a recognized expert on Native American and American colonial history, Perkins has inspired many audiences over the years, sharing tales of Asian cultures as a reliable tribal storyteller and as a teacher of various subjects in Louisiana's school system. The registration form for Camp Unique can be found on the Dreams Foundation of Acadiana website at dreamsfoundationaca.org. Volunteers are also being sought at this time, so if you're interested in volunteering, please complete the application on the Dreams website under the Volunteer tab. For more information about Camp Unique, you can contact Danielle Watkins by email at Danielle, that's D as in daughter, ONIELLE, at dreamsfoundationaca.org, or you can call 337-962-1609. That's 337-962-1609. The 12th annual Race Against the Clock blood drive. Because of you, life doesn't stop. Donate blood. Each year, donors in Acadiana look forward to the annual Race Against the Clock blood drive, and this year's drive has a new level of importance. These unprecedented times of the COVID-19 pandemic have brought to light the importance of ongoing blood donations. As more elective surgeries resume and people become more active again, the need for blood in hospitals has increased by over 25% in the past few weeks. Regular blood donations ensure there is never a shortage of blood. You can donate at our annual Race Across the Clock blood drive on Thursday, July 9th from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, and from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on July 9th, on Friday, July 10th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday, July 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Phi Talent Donation Center, which is located at 1503 Bertrand Drive. All donors will receive an event t-shirt, a pint of Bluebell ice cream, a reusable tote, coupon for free half-dozen donut holes from Ricky Mesh's Donut King, and a coupon for free McCafe drink from McDonald's. All items are while supplies last. Donors are also entered to win prizes and gift cards from various local businesses. Yeah, getting back into the news. 1 killed, 2 injured in Pierce Street shooting. Officers with the Lafayette Police Department responded to a report of a shooting in the 500 block of South Pier Street about 1:30 a.m. on Monday. Once on the scene, officers determined 3 people had been struck by gunfire. One victim, 35-year-old Jimmy Fuselier of Karen Crow, was transported to a hospital but later died from his injuries. Another victim was struck in the back and attempted to drive himself to a hospital. On the way to the hospital, the victim was involved in a major vehicle crash at Evangeline Thruway and Jefferson Street. He is in the hospital listed in stable condition. The third victim suffered a gunshot wound to the foot and refused medical attention on scene. Honduran man gets 1 year on gun charge. This is another crime report from the crime blotter that's daily issued in the Acadian Advocate. An Honduran citizen has been sentenced to a year in prison for being in the country illegally and in possession of a firearm. U.S. District Judge Michael J. Juneau sentenced Eric Batusta Ariasa Cepeda, 22, to serve 12 months in federal prison. He pleaded guilty of the charges on January 16th and will be subject to deportation upon his release. The charge stemmed from his August 9th arrest by Lafayette Police Department officers after the vehicle in which Ariasa Cepeda was traveling was stopped. Officers found a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber handgun, 12 rounds of .40 caliber ammunition, and about 1 gram of marijuana on the passenger floorboard inside the vehicle. Ariasa Cepeda said he had purchased a firearm 3 weeks earlier for $200, admitted that he was illegally present in the United States, and that he knew he was not allowed to possess a firearm. Okay. Family seeks plasma donations for brothers. Turling's siblings battling coronavirus by Megan Wyatt, staff writer. An Acadiana family that has pleaded for plasma donations over the holiday weekend has found matches that can help 2 teenagers recover from the novel coronavirus. Brothers David and Jacob Lemire are hospitalized with COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus, according to public social media posts by their father. Mark Lemire turned to Facebook over the weekend to ask for prayers and donations in the form of convalescent plasma from B donors who have recovered from the coronavirus. On Monday afternoon, Mark Lemire shared another update saying both of his sons will receive the plasma they need. Jacob Lemire, who is entering his senior year at Turling's Catholic High School, is receiving donated plasma in the intensive care unit at Christus Ochsner St. Patrick Hospital in Lake Charles, his dad wrote. Last night they were able to wean him off of BiPAP, Mark Lemire wrote in a Monday Facebook post. He's asking for a Darrow's po' boy, so he must be feeling better. He is receiving plasma today. David Lemire, who graduated from Turling's last year, is said to receive donated plasma soon in the intensive care unit at Ochsner Medical Center in New Orleans. He was transported to the hospital by helicopter Sunday night, his father wrote. David was life-lifted to Ochsner in New Orleans last night, Mark Lemire wrote in the Monday Facebook update. He has been stabilized and they are prepared to begin ECMO if his condition deteriorates any further. Mark Lemire thanked the community for the overwhelming support from potential donors. He continues to ask for prayers for his son's recovery. Turling's Catholic has posted updates on social media asking students and alumni, along with their friends and families, to come together in prayer as the brothers continue to fight the virus. All right, we'll turn to a couple more PSAs and then we'll hit our day in history and zodiac or horoscope, as I refer to it, and the funerals and the getting around today. AOC teams up with United Way of Acadiana for Learn United. United Way of Acadiana has teamed up with AOC and other local educational groups for Learn United, bridging the digital gap to provide educational resources for households that don't have internet but do have a television. The Learn United program airs weekday from 8 to 2 on AOC 2 or Cox 16 and LUS 4 and streaming at aocinc.org/watch. For the daily schedules and to submit content for the program, visit the United Way of Acadiana website. That would be unitedwayofacadiana.org/learn-united. And keeping calm to the COVID hotline, if you're feeling overwhelmed with stress, fear, and anxiety during this pandemic, then you should call the Keeping Calm to COVID hotline. This connects you to trained, compassionate counselors who can offer support and who can direct you to mental health and substance abuse counseling services, hopefully in this area. Trained counselors available 24/7, and all calls are confidential. You can call 1-866-310-7977. That's 866-310-7977. Stop the spread, call instead. Stop the spread, hashtag stop the spread. And locally, for the latest COVID-19s and information, you can call 311 or go to 311lafayette.services online. Call centers with volunteers and medical professionals are active 24/7 to answer your questions about COVID-19 and to determine if you need to get screened. You may also call 311 and press option 2 if you're a business owner, employee, or looking for a job to get information about applying for small business recovery loans or to apply for unemployment benefits and related programs. Okay, getting back into the news. Lafayette OMV office among 4 closed after positive test, staff report. 4 Louisiana office of motor vehicle locations, including one in Lafayette, were closed Monday due to precautions related to the COVID-19 response, Louisiana Office of Motor Vehicles Commissioner Karen St. Germain said in a statement. During the closure, online OMV services will remain available. Citizens may also take advantage of public tag agent locations. Locations in Alexandria, Lafayette, Monroe, and Shreveport will remain closed to the public for an undetermined length of time following a positive COVID-19 test for an OMV employee and administrator who held a role at several locations, although not one that involved interactions with the public. OMV urged customers to continue using the OMV website at expresslane.org for available online services such as driver's license renewals, identification card renewals, official driving records, and duplicate registrations. Customers are also encouraged to check their driver's license status by visiting expresslane.org regarding flags, blocks, suspensions, or disqualifications. If a customer has flags on their record, they must clear those flags prior to obtaining any OMV services. These OMV offices are closed until further notice. Alexandria, Arcadia, Bogalusa, Clinton, Crowley, DeQuincy, Harvey, Houma, Jonesboro, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Monroe, Oakdale, Shreveport, and Tahula. Customers seeking reinstatements should use one of the following options. OMV call center at 225-925-6146. Option 3, OMV mail center, P.O. Box 64886, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or zip code 70896. For a complete listing of all open OMV locations and PTA offices, visit offices.omv.la.gov. Okay, we're going to turn to our day in history. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, the 189th day of 2020. There are potentially 177 shopping days left in the year. Today's highlight in history. On July 7th, 1865, 4 people were hanged in Washington, D.C. for conspiring with John Wilkes Booth to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. Lewis Powell, a.k.a. Lewis Payne, David Harold, George Adjezal, and Mary Stuart, the first woman to be executed by the federal government. On this date, in 1846, the U.S. annexation of California was proclaimed at Monterey after the surrender of a Mexican garrison. In 1898, the United States annexed Hawaii. In In 1937, the Second Sino-Japanese War erupted into a full-scale conflict as Imperial Japanese forces attacked the Marco Polo Bridge in Beijing. Marco Polo. 1941, U.S. forces took up positions in Iceland, Trinidad, and British Guiana to forestall any Nazi invasion, even though the United States had not yet entered the Second World War. 1948, 6 female U.S. Navy reservists became the first women to be sworn into the regular Navy. In 1954, Elvis Presley made his radio debut as Memphis, Tennessee station WHBQ played his first recording for Sun Records, That's All Right, recorded at Sun Studios in lovely Memphis, Tennessee. In 1976, President Gerald R. Ford and the First Lady hosted a White House dinner for Britain's Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. The United States Military Academy at West Point included female cadets for the first time on the state as 119 women joined the class of 1980. 1981, President Ronald Reagan announced he was nominating Arizona Judge Sandra Day O'Connor to become the first female justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2005, terrorist bombings in 3 underground stations and a double-decker bus killed 52 victims and 4 bombers in the worst attack on London since World War II. In 2009, some 20,000 people gathered inside Staples Center in Los Angeles for a memorial service honoring the late Michael Jackson, who was tearfully described by his 11-year-old daughter, Paris Michelle, as the best father you can ever imagine. 10 years ago, President Barack Obama bypassed the Senate and appointed Dr. Donald Berwick to run Medicare and Medicaid. 5 years ago, Subway said it had mutually agreed with Jared Fogle to suspend their relationship after the home of the sandwich chain's longtime pitchman was raided by federal and state investigators. Fogle later pleaded guilty to 1 count each of distributing and receiving child porn and traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a child, and was sentenced to more than 15 years in prison. 1 year ago, the Navy announced that Admiral William Moran, the 4-star admiral who had been set to become the Navy's top officer, would instead retire, a move prompted by what Navy Secretary Richard Spencer described as poor judgment regarding a professional relationship. Today's birthdays, we have musician conductor Doc Severinsen from The Tonight Show fame is 93 years old today. Go Doc. Pulitzer Prize winning author David McCullough is 87. Rock star Ringo Starr from the Beatles is 80. 80 years old, Ringo. Go, man, go. Comedian Bill Oddie is 79. Singer-musician Warren Entler from the Grassroots is 77. Actor Joe Spano, 74. Country singer Linda Williams, 73. Actress Shelley Duvall, 71. Actor Billy Campbell is 61. Actor Robert Taylor is 60. Actor comedian Jim Gaffigan is 54. Actress Amy Carlson is 52. And actress Bernice Bejo is 44, and actor Hamish Linklater is 44 as well. Okay, looking at the zodiac or horoscope, if you're a Cancer, your sign is under Cancer, which is June 21st to July 22nd. Say only what's necessary. If you start an in-depth discussion, you will feel agitated by what you hear. Personal goals will boost your confidence. A debate will deflate your ego. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. Separate your emotions from how you handle your money. Making snap decisions or purchases on a whim will leave you in a precarious position. Put a greater emphasis on personal growth and enlightenment. Virgos, August 23rd through September 22nd, my birth sign. Life isn't all about work. Take a breather and discover some of the joys you've been missing. Spend more time with loved ones or expanding your mind. Start a new hobby. Libra, September 23rd through October 23rd. Take precautions when dealing with work or domestic issues. Listen carefully and take your time deciding what's best for you. Personal improvements will help build confidence. Romance is encouraged. Scorpio, October 24th to November 22nd. Take action based on facts, not on your emotions. If you act on an assumption, it will lead to regret and cost you an opportunity you won't want to miss. Sagittarius, November 23rd through December 21st. Don't be fooled by someone offering a colorful picture of what's happening. Be resourceful and avoid damaging you or someone else's reputation. A home improvement project is favored. Capricorn, December 22nd through January 19th. Put pent-up energy into something constructive. Arguing won't solve problems, but compromise will. A change you make to your home or to a meaningful relationship will come with benefits. Aquarius, January 20th through February 19th. Take an energetic and innovative approach to how you earn your living. Be creative and you'll find a unique way to use your talents to bring in more cash. Pisces, February 20th through March 20th. Look for a way to help someone in need. A kind gesture will give someone hope and offer insight into how you can make a difference in your community. Aries, March 21st through April 19th. Share your feelings, clear up an emotional issue you have with someone before it escalates. Remain calm and willing to compromise and keep the peace. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. Consider your motives before you decide to make a change. Trying to buy someone's attention, time, or love will not turn out the way you expect. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. Take time to focus on your health and emotional well-being. What you discover will help you redirect your energy into the things that truly matter. And as always, the horoscope or zodiac is an entertainment feature not based on scientific fact. And looking at the funerals today in the Kittiana area, Kelsey Doucet at St. John Birchman's Catholic Church in Kempton at 2:30 p.m., Carrie Menard, New Life Church in Abbeville at 1 p.m., and Raymond Pennison Jr., David Funeral Home at 11 a.m. All right, let's look at a couple more PSAs. Medicaid resources. If you have lost your job or if you have reduced hours, you may be eligible for Medicaid. You can apply online at mymedicaid.la.gov. You can also apply by phone by calling 1-888-342-6207 or by mail by sending information to Louisiana Medicaid, P.O. Box 91283 Baton Rouge, LA 70821. Local Medicaid offices are currently closed to the public due to the pandemic. If additional assistance is needed, you can call again 888-342-6207. LEDA, individuals whose hours are being reduced at work or have been laid off from employment may qualify for unemployment insurance benefits. If you're attempting to apply for unemployment insurance and are not able to access an existing online account or need help resetting your password, call Lafayette's Acadiana Workforce Solutions Office at 337-262-5601. Due to high call volume, some calls may not be answered immediately. Call again at a later time or contact one of Louisiana's other local offices for assistance. In addition to unemployment insurance benefits, individuals looking for supplemental income can consider local employment opportunities with businesses who are seeking temporary part-time and full-time workers by visiting the COVID-19 Help Wanted resource page at lafayette.org/helpwanted, or at LEDA's virtual job fair page with local businesses seeking to hire local candidates for full-time employment opportunities at lafayette.org/jobs. Okay, so getting back into the news. $7.3 billion in paycheck protection loans sent to Louisiana by Kristen Mossbrucker and Timothy Boone, staff writers. More than 73,800 Louisiana organizations were approved for $7.3 billion in potentially forgivable loans through the federal Paycheck Protection Program. Inside that figure, more than 64,700 loans to businesses or nonprofit organizations were for less than $150,000 for a total of $2 billion as of June 30th, representing nearly 88% of the number of loans approved, or just over 1/4 of the money being dispersed, I should say. Another 9,000 organizations, mostly business, were approved for between $150,000 and the program cap of $10 million for a total of $5.3 billion, representing about 12% of the loans and about 3/4 of the money. In Baton Rouge, there were 1,163 loans approved for companies between $150,000 and $10 million. In the city of New Orleans, there were 1,236 loans approved in that same range, and 594 in Lafayette. At the top range in the data released, there were 77 companies across Louisiana approved for between $5 million and $10 million each. Of those, 43 retained at least 400 workers each, and the remainder has mostly been between 200 and nearly 400 workers. Only 5 companies approved for between $5 million and $10 million in Paycheck Protection funds and 100 or fewer employees. One business did not report retaining any jobs, but was approved for at least $5 million in Paycheck Protection Program loans, and another announced a layoff of 300 workers shortly after receiving loan approval. The Paycheck Protection Program enabled hundreds or thousands of lenders across the state to underwrite loans guaranteed by the U.S. Small Business Administration. The program was created to help businesses pay workers, utilities, mortgages, and rent as they recover from the economic downturn during the coronavirus pandemic. Across Louisiana, there were 800,000 jobs potentially supported by the federal program, according to the SBA. The loan recipients spanned a wide range of major employment sectors in Louisiana, such as oil and gas industry operators, petrochemical and other manufacturers, construction businesses, healthcare organizations from nursing homes to hospitals, law firms, auto dealers, private schools, and fast food franchise operators. Some companies on the list that applied and were approved might have decided not to accept the loan. Program data released on Monday was a result of several news organizations pushing for the data to be disclosed. Only business and nonprofits approved for at least $150,000 are named on the documents, but the exact loan amount they received was not disclosed and given a range. For loans of $150,000 or less, the exact loan amount approved was disclosed, but the name of the organization was not. That means the names of about 88% of the recipients were not revealed. The public disclosure of the records is inconsistent with the way the SBA historically has released data recording a loan program information, which includes loan amount, lender name, borrower name, and even the interest rate. Several area companies discussed the use of the federal program, which included Capital City Press among its loan recipients. Capital City Press, which owns the Advocate in Baton Rouge and Acadiana, the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate and Gambit, was approved for between $2 million and $5 million in PPP funds. John Georges, Chief Executive Officer of Georges Media Group, the New Orleans-based firm that Capital City Press is part of, said the company participated in the program to take care of its 391 employees. We remained open the entire time. We didn't shut down, Georges said. We burned through a lot of payroll. Paycheck protection loans were also approved for a number of schools in New Orleans, including Dillard University, which got between $2 million and $5 million to retain 491 employees. The school is complying with requirements that it uses the funds to maintain payroll, make mortgage payments, cover utilities, said Eddie Francis, a Dillard spokesperson. Keene Miller, a Baton Rouge-based law firm with offices in Texas, was approved for a $5 million to $10 million loan. Steve Botwell, a Keene Miller spokesperson, said the money was used to benefit its nearly 350 employees, more than half of whom are paralegals, secretaries, and administrative staff. During this pandemic, one of our law firm's primary concerns has been maintaining the health and well-being of our employees and their families and continuing to serve our clients, Bodwell said. Bill Festermaker, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of C.H. Fenstermaker and Associates in Lafayette, said that between $2 million and $5 million his company received through the program allowed it to keep its more than 300 workers employed. Fenstermaker is a surveying, engineering, consulting firm that has been hurt by the downturn in the energy business. You look at the Louisiana drilling report and they're not drilling wells, Fenstermaker said. We think the worst is yet to come. We're trying to be prudent and apply this money and hope the worst doesn't happen. The company has a monthly payroll of $2 million, and Fenstermaker said some of the program funds have been used for that purpose. He's looking at the money like a line of credit from a lender. This is more than a 2-month ordeal, he said. This is like looking like a 6 to 12-month ordeal, but we intend to keep people employed. Rachel Higginbotham, a spokesman for Postlewaite and Netherville, said the Baton Rouge accounting firm applied for between $5 million and $10 million in funding to protect its 400 workers. We know firms that for one reason or another were eligible for the PPP and they had to make layoffs, she said. We've been able to retain our workforce thus far. Russ Umbrick, owner of Burgersmith, a Lafayette-based restaurant that specializes in gourmet hamburgers and Louisiana brewed craft beers, said he applied for a loan between $350,000 to $1 million to cover rent and salaries for the employees he could lure back. Burgersmith has 6 locations in Metro Baton Rouge and Acadiana. This was certainly something that had to be made available to this industry, he said. Restaurants were all but shuttered. There is no way many businesses will be able to survive. Umbrick said hiring workers have been complicated by restrictions, limiting occupancy of restaurants at 50% capacity. I'm not able to get enough people hired back, he said, but they use different measurements that are changing weekly. Tom Martin, president and chief executive of PodPack International, said his Baton Rouge company applied for the program to survive. PodPack makes single-sleeve coffee pods for clients such as offices, restaurants, and hotels, all sectors hard hit by the coronavirus pandemic. We thought we were pretty well diversified, Martin said, but these 3 channels got killed. PodPack was approved for a loan between $1 million and $2 million. The money has proved to be beneficial for the company's 89 employees. When you lose a significant portion of your business, cash is king. You want to accumulate as much as you can, Martin said. PodPack hasn't evaluated totally if it will be able to get its loan forgiven or if it will have to make payments. Martin said he's not concerned about taking on a loan. Our objective was not so much as getting the loan forgiven as it was having the working capital to make it through the pandemic, he said. The loans can be forgiven if they are spent on payroll to encourage firms to keep paying their employees or rehire workers they may have laid off. The program offers loans of up to $10 million at 1% interest for companies with fewer than 500 workers and is meant to cover about 2 months of payroll. The funds must be used before the end of the year, and the businesses must spend 60% on payroll, down from 75% to qualify to loan forgiveness. Study finds Parkinson's linked to pesticide to herbicides by Mark Shivelstein, staff writer. A new study of people treated for Parkinson's disease in Louisiana found a clear correlation between the disease and the use of 2 types of herbicide and 1 pesticide in rural areas dominated by forestry, woodlands, and pastures. The study also found that Parkinson's disease has become less common in areas of the state where cotton, corn, and soybean farmers have switched to the use of the herbicide glyphosate, sold under the brand name of Roundup, although that product has recently been linked to some forms of cancer, which the study did not examine. Roundup is manufactured in Luling by the Bayer subsidiary Monsanto. The peer-reviewed open access study by 3 LSU researchers were published online in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health on February 29th. Parkinson's disease involves a progressive degeneration of the nervous system, and its symptoms include tremors, muscular rigidity, and slow, imprecise movements. It mostly affects middle-aged and elderly people, and its onset can take 6 to 10 years before symptoms are recognized. The study found that in the 7-year period ending in 2012, the areas at greater risk include large portions of Allen and Evangeline parishes, where between 35 and 46 individuals per 10,000 residents were treated for Parkinson's in hospitals. That band of high risk stretched across the lower middle of the state from Beauregard Parish to Iberville Parish, where farm pastures and timberland are dominant. The second greatest risk area for that time period runs in a band from Sabine Parish on the Sabine River along the Texas border, northwest to West Carroll Parish. Again, much of the area is dominated by timber and pasture land, with the exception of West Carroll, where cotton, soybeans, and sorghum are grown. Two smaller areas of high risk are in the New Orleans region. In the eastern Florida parishes on the North Shore, most cases were found in central Tangipahoa Parish, where strawberries are grown, and in St. Tammany and Washington parishes, where pastures and woodland dominate. But the researchers said there is less connection to agricultural exposure in a high-risk area that includes Kenner and parts of St. Charles and St. John the Baptist parishes. Study points out that those cases occur in an area dominated by petrochemical manufacturing and suggests a high rate in Kenner may be because of its role as a dormitory suburb for the workers in the two petrochemical parishes. However, the study also found that other areas along the Mississippi River that are also dominated by petrochemical manufacturing had much lower risk for Parkinson's, and it's not clear why. A similar map of Parkinson's risk for the 1999-2005 period shows the risk of the disease was much greater in parishes in the northeast corner of the state, where cotton and other crops dominate. The study concludes the higher risk during that time period was because farmers were using 2,4-D paraquat and other herbicides with links to the disease rather than glyphosate, such as Roundup. Monsanto began selling genetically modified Roundup-ready soybean seed in 1996, followed by the release of similarly modified corn, cotton, and other crops in the next few years. The plants grown from those seeds were resistant to damage when glyphosate-based weed killers were used, and their use was widely adopted by farmers in the northeastern part of the state. The result was that the use of herbicides linked to Parkinson's dropped dramatically in that area, but because of the lengthy time between the onset of the disease and when its effects caused a first hospital stay, the effects of the change didn't become clear until the 2006-2012 timeframe. The second time period of the study also found a much lower risk of Parkinson's in the area west of Alexandria that includes Fort Polk, where its younger population of soldiers would not be likely to be showing symptoms of the disease if they were hospitalized. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, keeps track of studies like this one on Parkinson's disease and is reviewing the rules for the use of both paraquat and 2,4-D. The agency is required to review the use of previously approved pesticides at least every 15 years. According to its website, as of July 2017, more than 700 reviews were underway. The State Departments of Health and Hospitals and Environmental Quality did not respond to requests for comments on this study. A spokeswoman for the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry said the agency follows the lead of the EPA, but does not supersede it. Our role is to make sure that pesticides used in Louisiana are registered with the EPA and correctly applied by certified applicators, said Veronica Musgrove. The researchers used a database of patients admitted to 95 Louisiana hospitals between 1999 and 2012 to identify the zip code areas where 23,224 individuals diagnosed with Parkinson's disease live. The database was provided by the Louisiana Office of Public Health. Data after 2012 has not been made available by the Health Department for this study, so Martin Hughes Jones, lead author of the study and an emeritus professor of veterinary epidemiology at LSU. Hugh Jones is better known as a world-renowned expert on the use of anthrax and bioterrorism. The patient information was divided into 7-year periods and used to map the risk in cases per 10,000 people of having the disease for each 7-year period. The risk estimates were then compared with maps identifying where land use was for agriculture or timber growing operations, and then to information from 4-year U.S. Geological Survey estimates of the use of herbicides and insecticides on farmland and timberland in Louisiana parishes between 1992 and 2004. The estimates are based on chemical use reported by farmers. The study points out that the relationship between Parkinson's disease and exposure by pesticides have been known since the 1980s. Herbicides linked to the disease include paraquat, trilethylene, and the latter has been banned from most uses in this country. The disease has not been linked to more modern herbicides, including atrazine and others. Specific insecticides linked to the disease that have been used in Louisiana include other chemicals. The use of deodorant is now banned by the EPA. A separate map in the study outlines recharge areas for underground aquifers where rainfall seeps into the soil, often through fields tested with herbicides and pesticides, and then into the aquifers, or where small streams of bayous that collect rainwater running off those fields connect with aquifers. According to the study, areas with the highest risk of disease occur with the potential for aquifer recharge considered moderate or high. A review of the state test data for both groundwater and surface water supplies from 1993 through 2016 found only a handful that were contaminated. But the study pointed out that tests that occur on one day every 3 years are unlikely to find such contamination, as any agricultural pesticide contamination is likely to be short by 2 weeks. The hospital records also would not have captured individuals who were treated as outpatients, and since hospitalization specifically for Parkinson's typically occur only 10 to 15 years after onset, early onset cases likely were missed unless the disease was spotted while patients were hospitalized for other reasons like cancer or heart disease. The statistics also likely capture more women than men because women are more likely to seek health care, the study said. Thus, the hospital records are not necessarily a measure of the true extent of Parkinson's disease in Louisiana, but currently it is all that is available, the study said. And finally, in sports, in a good place, Marlins Cajuns men's basketball focused, ready for a productive summer session, by Kevin Foote, sports writer and staff writer for The Advocate. Like all coaches these days, UL's men's basketball coach, Bob Marlin, was quick to add the coronavirus qualifier when discussing his eagerness to begin 10 practice sessions on July 20th. But if all things are allowed to go as planned, Marlin looks forward to begin molding a promising 2020-21 version of the Raging Cajuns. Despite all the uncertainty that plagues all of college athletes these days, Marlin is confident his team is ready. I feel they're in a good place, Marlin said. Since the middle of March, when this started, we took a couple weeks off. We've had 2 Zoom meetings a week with the team and a couple of the staff. We've tried to stay on top of it. Each Zoom meeting we have with the players, we also try to encourage them and keep everything positive, especially back in March when we didn't know which direction this was going to go. Our guys have been positive overall. They're anxious to get back in the gym and practice and play. Players begin individual shooting workouts Wednesday ahead of the holiday weekend, and will begin weight room and conditioning sessions on Monday. That period goes through July 19th, one day before team practice drills can begin. These days, it all starts with safety. Marlin said workouts may include masks and gloves for the players, and perhaps even masks for the coaches. I think the NBA experiment is going to reveal a lot as well, Marlin said. I hope that comes off well, but we don't know. I'm sure there are going to be issues there as well. Marlin said the staff has delivered consistent safety protocol measures to the team throughout the process. We've told them repeatedly that they're going to have to practice the safeguards the university has put in place, Marlin said. They're going to have to wear masks, their coverings, wash their hands, social distance. If you get in a car with another teammate, just be mindful of where you go and who you come in contact with. We talk about being part of the solution and not part of the problem. We've had to revisit that in the last couple of weeks with a lot of talk about the younger generation, 18 through 29, not taking things as serious. Marlin said the team has also discussed the Black Lives Matter social movement around the country. I've talked to several of them, and we're going to get into even more conversation throughout the year, Marlin said. It's something we need to continue to educate, keep an eye on, and try to help these young men. In fact, Sunbelt coaches and administration will be taking part in a workshop on the social issues in the country after returning from the July 4th holiday weekend. If and when Marlins squad can get down to basketball, the staff has a list of concerns to address there as well. The first goal will be to establish team chemistry and team leaders. It's important to build some team unity that we did not get the opportunity to do this year in the spring, Marlon said. We've lost 3 weeks in the spring after our season, basically April. We lost June too. We'll get the June back in August, hopefully, but try to get the guys on the same page and to know each other. Almost half our team is new. After previous seasons of top-notch senior leadership, it was an issue for the Cajuns a year ago. Originally, Jericus Davis and Justin Miller will have joined P.J. Hardy and Mason Aquin as seniors last season, but they didn't do what they needed to do to be here. Then Hardy became the season suspended, and Aquin fought through an injury, limiting his time as a reserve. Absolutely, that injury hurts us from being older last year, and yes, potluck is a big part of that, Marlon said. We also have some suspensions and other issues where guys didn't take care of the business. Veteran senior Cedric Russell figures to be the team's biggest leader, while Dal Guy is the other senior. Junior guard Trajan Wellesley also returns as a candidate in that area. If the NCAA rules in UL's favor on the eligibility of 6'11" Portland transfer Theo Akwuba and 6'10" freshman Isaiah Richards, some of the Cajuns' defense and rebounding issues will be addressed. Still, those figure to be a major point of emphasis to the staff. Trying to get those guys to learn our system, Martin said. Certainly we'll focus on defense, playing together and taking good shots, etc. Meanwhile, Marlon sits back, watches, and hopes the coronavirus scenarios don't disrupt the progress of collegiate sports in the coming months. I do think we have a little bit more time for trial and error to see what happens with football, Marlon said. Me personally, the most important thing is to get students back on campus. If we do that, hopefully we can have a football season with some fans. There are going to be things that pop up. There have been nationwide with football. There will be things that happen during the season if we're fortunate enough to play. We'll have to see how these things are responded to. And that, my folks, my community of Acadiana, that is a wrap-up of today's news. We present the news to you every morning from 9 to 10 a.m. I went just a few minutes past 10 this morning. Usually at 9:55, the audio version of the broadcast cuts out at our TV stations, but you can always continue to listen to us at our YouTube station, which is AOC Community Media, or our online streaming radio station, Cypress Street Radio. That's CYPRESS Street Radio. Just hit the play button and continue to listen to the news. We're always looking for volunteers, so if you're interested in joining our newspaper volunteer reading program, you can go to aocinc.org, look for the volunteer reading program form, fill out the material, send it in, and we'll be more than happy, and I'll be more than happy to assist you in learning how to do the program and what we do here. And it's basically a free service to the visually impaired community in Acadiana and to the rest of the community that does not get a newspaper or have access to the daily news cycle. As always, this is Bruce Cohen. This will be Bruce Cohen, and I ask you to be safe and be healthy and be smart out there. If you're out there in the Acadiana area around others, please take precautions. Please mask. Please social distance. Please wash your hands frequently and sanitize wherever possible. It's very important that we do this together as a nation, as a group, to prevent this spread of the virus. So have a good morning and be kind to each other.